Going on, everyone? There's lots of talks going around on what the Lakers should do with LeBron James. LeBron James hasn't committed long term, and after this upcoming season, he's a free agent and is free to go wherever he wants. And many people are saying that, hey, we need to see a commitment from LeBron. We need to see him, actually sign an extension or at least give us some word that he is returning if we're going to continue to build this team around him. Many people have even thrown out the possibility of, hey, why don't you just trade LeBron? Get something now for him before he leaves and you get nothing. But there's a couple things that go into this that I want to talk about. And of course, hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. But first off, from a Lakers standpoint, the Lakers would never trade LeBron. Unless LeBron openly and publicly said, I want you to trade me, which he's never done ever. Even the teams he has left, he's never requested. He always honors his contract. Then the Lakers aren't going to trade him because that's just not what the Lakers do historically, with their stars and stuff like that. I mean, they paid Kobe until he retired when they should have, not paid him a max for like 5 years leading into that. It's just, but they did it to show, look at what we do if you're a superstar that comes to the Lakers. We take care of you even when everyone else around us says we shouldn't. You come here, you're always family, this is always a home. And the other thing is, too, the Lakers never got a big star since Shaq in free agency. All the other ones, Dwight Howard, all those guys, were all traded for. The last superstar since LeBron James was Shaquille O'Neal. So the Lakers needed to reestablish themselves. The Lakers have never been about rebuilding. Like back in 2004, their whole motto was, we don't rebuild, we retool. Right? And they got Gary Payton and then Karl Malone, and they thought they were going to be a super team. And they did go to the finals, and due to injuries, they lost. Who knows what would have happened if they were healthy, but they ended up losing. That's neither here nor there. The point is, the Lakers don't do that with their superstars. They would rather LeBron walk and leave them with nothing than LeBron actually, trading LeBron for pieces or whatever. The Lakers just don't rebuild. We've never done it. When we tried to do it, we were terrible and irrelevant for 6 years. And I know some people didn't like the idea or still don't like the idea of LeBron James coming to the Lakers. At the end of the day, we still won a championship, right? We needed that. It is so hard to win a championship in this league that having that one chip for all those young talent, yeah, it sucks. And it's like, what could that have developed into? But even all that young talent could have developed into never winning a championship. I mean, there are many teams that have looked fantastic that never won championships. So I don't mind that LeBron is here. And worst case scenario, whether he leaves or not, he's going to end up, he delivered on his promise, bringing a championship to LA. Now, will we get another one? That's yet to be seen. But from a LeBron James standpoint, he's not going anywhere, right? So for first starters, is that LeBron James, he has so much more going on because of LA. That's why he wanted to come to LA and not another location. There were lots of better options at the time that LeBron could have went to, but he wanted to go to LA because he wanted to become a billionaire, right? And he achieved that. He wanted to do movies and commercials and build brands and all that stuff because he knows he's in the twilight of his career and he wants to transition into business before he retires. And what better place to do that than LA? I mean, the people he got to meet, the connections he got to make, the hands he got to rub with, like he became a billionaire and is going to continue in an upward trajectory because he's in Los Angeles. Now, if LeBron was 27, yeah, I'd say, you know what? He very well could leave next year, after next year. But the fact that he is at the end of his career, he is going to be 40. He will not leave the Lakers unless he's thinking, okay, I got one more year left, maybe 2 more years, and he goes and plays with his son, or he goes back to Cleveland to retire as a Cav. Those are the only 2 options. Until he comes to that conclusion, which maybe after next year, maybe he does, but I don't think so. I think he's going to play at least another 2 or 3 years at a high level where he feels like, okay, I can win a championship in the next 2 or 3 years, and then that will transition to, okay, I got maybe a year or 2 left, and then he'll end up going to, like I said, the Cavs, or go play with the Sun or something like that for that 1 year. But very likely, he's going to sign 1+1 deals until he decides to inevitably leave the Lakers. But it's not going to be anytime soon. But let's say he even thinks about it. Let's say there is that concern, right? You still build around him this year because, one, you don't have a ton of cap space. Two, even if you do have like a key piece or two here and there, like, okay, just sign those pieces for the long term or re-sign them when LeBron leaves. Three, if LeBron leaves, you have Westbrook and LeBron's salary completely off the books with Anthony Davis. You could literally go get 2 or 3 more star players and just rebuild another super team. And you got a lot of star free agents that could maybe want to team up and go to LA with Anthony Davis in 2023. So it's not the end of the world if that happens. But it's not like the Lakers are going to be signing all of these like, mid-tier guys that it's like, you don't want to have long-term contracts with these guys, because if you do and LeBron leaves, then you're a terrible team. No, all the deals we're going to be making are all going to be 1 year vet minimum contracts. We have one taxpayers mid-level. Outside of the taxpayers mid-level, it's all minimum contracts. So you're just signing a bunch of people for 1 year. So literally, after this season, you're going to have an entirely clean books except for Anthony Davis. And like, I think Austin Reeves has 1 more year or something like that. Or no, he's a free agent too. So you might only have, I think you only have Anthony Davis on the books for next year, because Kendrick Nunn would be a free agent. Stanley Johnson would be a free agent. Wyndon Gabriel would be a free agent. Austin Reeves would be a free agent. Like literally everybody, your entire roster, including Westbrook and LeBron, you have nobody but Anthony Davis on your team at that point, and maybe some second round draft picks that they get this year. My point is that like you don't have to worry from a Lakers standpoint. Whether LeBron stays, we're good. Whether LeBron goes, we're good. I just don't see LeBron leaving in the next year or two. I think he plays out this year, and that doesn't mean that we should just like, you have LeBron, you have him in the end of his career. He's still playing at a high level. You still have Anthony Davis. You still need to try to compete. You still need to try to build the best team possible around these two, because, is it possible that he leaves? Absolutely. But the only way I think he leaves is if this team is just an absolute mess and he's just over it. But even then, I don't think, even if he missed the playoffs again this year, I don't think he would leave, because he knows, okay, yeah, we missed the playoffs again. Yeah, we sucked again, but we have like $70 million off our books between all of the players and Westbrook gone. Like Westbrook clears like $50 million, and then you have Kendrick Nunn, you have everybody, like you basically, it's just you and Anthony Davis. You could even take less money and go the Tom Brady route and go get like a Bradley Beal and, whoever else, insert another star. Like there's so many options that you would have in order to like build another contender all over again that not a lot of teams in 2023 would have. So again, his options wouldn't be very large unless he's taken, like $4 million to go play on another team. Like would he take a taxpayer mid-level or just a biannually mid-level, or like what? Would he take any of those options to go play in Miami? Maybe. But I think realistically, no, not yet. I think he still thinks that he's going to get, a max deal or somewhere close. I could see him taking a pay cut. Instead of like $40 million a year, he takes like maybe $25 million a year. But I don't think he would do something like, I could make $40 million, but I'll just take $3 million. Like, I don't think he'd go that low. But my point is, at the end of the day, there are so many options, so many choices, and the Lakers are the best one for LeBron, because you have everything going on and off the court that is hugely in his favor, that he's not going to get anywhere else besides Los Angeles, and it's a good place for him to be. But as always, is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think like, yeah, you're right, LeBron ain't going anywhere. He's got too much going on off the court, too much on the court. He has a team that's built around him this year. If it doesn't work, he has basically nothing but free agency space, cap space to essentially rebuild his team all over again. I want this guy, that guy, this guy. Plus, LeBron is a great recruiter. If LeBron calls Bradley Beal, it is like, hey, come over here, you, me, Anthony Davis. Like, you get a 4-year max. We'll win a championship, and then I retire, and then pass the keys on to you. I don't see Bradley Beal saying no, especially after the interview he had with Bleacher Report, I just don't see him saying no. Because he'd be right. Even after LeBron left, you'd still have you and Anthony Davis. That's better than any team Washington's had since you've been on it. So I think no matter how you shake it, it'd be a good spot. But anyway, would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about in this video. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.